Hello, my name is Dr. Ann Wade, and I'm so glad you're in this class. This class is so important. Victimology is a class that we only have one of in our curriculum, and it's a bit different than other criminal justice classes because in other criminal justice classes, you see the criminal justice system through the eyes of the offender. What you see is the offense, you see the offender. We spend a lot of time discussing the criminal, the judicial system, and the correctional system through the eyes of the offender. But in this course, we look at crime through the eyes of the victim. And that's important because we have to look at the impact that crime has on victims because they're often forgotten about in the process, even during prosecution of the offender. So we'll discuss how people became victims. We'll look at the history of victimology and the victim throughout history, what happened, how people took care of their families when their families were brutalized or theft happened, larceny. We will look at data collection procedures. So we're going to look at how we know what we know. How do we know how many victims there are? How do we know what type of victims there are out there? And how is that data collected? And what's been reported to law enforcement and what has not been reported to law enforcement? And so we're going to look at something called the dark figure of crime. And these are the crimes that go unreported to law enforcement. And we're going to look at how we know that there are those crimes. We're going to look at the cost of being a victim. We're going to actually look at the monetary cost, but there's several other things that happen to victims. So we're going to look at that. Then we're going to shift our focus from kind of this generality to very specific crimes. And we're going to look at specific crimes like sexual battery. And that's anything from maybe touching someone inappropriately all the way to a brutal rape. And it's not just crime against women and violence against women, but that is the major source of this. Then we're going to get into intimate partner violence, and that's going to include just a lot of different scenarios that we will look at. We will look at child maltreatment. It could be sexual maltreatment, it could be neglect, it can be very verbal abuse, but we're going to look at those aspects of victimology. We're going to look at crimes against the elderly, an often forgotten part of victimology. What happens when elders are abused? Many times it's financial abuse, but other times it may be very physical abuse. Then we're going to look at two more crimes. We're going to look at hate crimes, and then we're going to look at school violence. And so we're going to look at bullying, and we're going to look at things that prompt teenagers to maybe seek retribution. We're going to look at all of this through the lens of the victim. So everything is going to be through how the victim sees it. What is the victim going through, as opposed to the prosecution and the sentencing of the offender. And even if we talk about that, we're going to talk about how that impacts on our victims. So just a few things on administrative stuff. First of all, stay current in the class. That means check in frequently. It means emails. It means discussion boards and submitting your assignments on time. Do your weekly assignments on time. Stay ahead. Ask for help. If you get swamped, ask for help. Ask me. Ask the tutoring center, the writing center. If you're having issues with your writing, go to the writing center. They will help you. If you have to drop the class, make sure you do it before the last date of March 22nd. That's a drop you can initiate. And on the syllabus, there's a hot link to get you there. But if you wait till after the 22nd, you're going to be in the area where I can't drop you anymore. And we're running into this as a very serious problem where students are getting to that point and then they're just assuming that we will take care of their drop maybe 4 months into the class. And so at that point, I can't drop you anymore. And so what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to drop before then, or you will receive an earned F, even if you stop attending on March 21st and you don't drop. And say you think, well, I may do some assignments, and then you just say, I throw up my hands. When I go into grade and I see that you're not present, I'll try to remember to send you an email. But if that does not happen and I don't notice your absence, and your lack of assignments, thinking maybe you're just missing a couple, we get to the end of the semester, you'll get an earned F. Read your textbook. A lot of students say, well, I never opened my textbook. That's your fault. You need to open your textbook. You need to read these assignments. Even if you get an assignment that you can do very quickly, make sure you read all the background in your text. It's not enough to take an exam and flip through your textbook. I want you to understand this material. This is important. This is the only class you get in victimology. Email me, talk to me, and let me know that you need help as soon as you need it. Don't let it get further into the semester and you get covered up and buried and can't get out of it. And the last point, have a great semester. This is interesting material. It's fun material. Many of you will go into helping professions, so this is material that you will use. And again, call me, email me if you have any questions, concerns. I'm here for you. Thanks.